Abusua ene enkoma abano die. Chese ya yetie na ya ye kire yadwen. Yes. Ya yetie na ya ye kire yadwen ewo ho. Ni na efa eye Chief Justice eye Baffoe Bonnie. Chief Justice Baffoe Bonnie. Any your former Chief Justice ye maame Gertrude Esaba Araba Tokono dodo na efre no Mageti abusua ene ensem na aba no me pese meka bebre pese ya yekọ na yetie na yeti ase na yetumi eche ya adwen ewo comment section senia omo eka no no kore se te saa ente saa so abusua yembo mode an se be che ya adwen ete saa so a yembo yembo mode an se be che ya adwen ewo comment section na ha that's why be media gi chebe se wa so be subscribe be like na wa bo so share for person be te no nya de ye chere wono yeti nkoma ekoso emra be media gi chebe fasa konya we so ado bibia ase abusua massive support no ye ni je ho so ye ni papa obo ade wonhira mo o ma na adom no enye kase ewo bibia ase mo ma yenko na yeti nkoma ekoso emra sesia ye das
Dr. Zato di nkomo bi se Justice Tokoni aseme ko pie mu ewo ekowasa kuja na ohwemu a Sofa Akuffo resign is in connection to that case. And as a Council of State, I was saying the former Chief Justice and as a Chief Justice to represent. In Ochema, Sofa Akuffo resigning her leadership resigning is in regarding to that. Now fast forward, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama appointed her lordship Baffoe Bonnie. And finally replace your maame Sofa Akuffo because he knew for fact say right this year December no obeko retire. Now obeko retire there, then he is a better replacement for Sofa Akuffo. No, I think so needs to adwin there for comment share comment. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has been ordered by that to say the replacement of Sofa Akuffo, and the Council of State must need a former Chief Justice to replace them. Ti maame Sofa Akuffo okaso resigning na ni nyina ye in connection to maame Tokono a trigger article 146 in free office no and also so just like that petition because near that take what Dr. Zato on this no we join us in this.
I've spoken to Tokono and I told him you were there when we started this whole thing, and me I said that she was a goner. She was gone, and she has. And I'm not surprised about any of these other things. Usually, it is the ramifications of what happens that we are beginning to face as a country right now.
But why didn't she give up on that case at the ECOWAS court?
No. I'm saying I'm happy she didn't give up too. In fact, I'm very proud she didn't give up. Because see, this case, I'm happy that it has traveled this whole length, living in its path, lessons, instructions, and I'm sure that there's a student of law somewhere, or there are students of law somewhere who now have something to read on when a similar case arises. Yeah. Lisa, I could say that has expanded or added to the jurisprudence on this issue. Because remember, this is the first time a sitting CJ has been known by this country. And so it's monumental. If she had just cut her losses and run, we wouldn't have any other thing to refer to, or I don't think future students would have been able to say that, oh, is there a case study of a chief justice that was removed? How did he go to learn from it to improve it? So I'm happy that all this has come down now. We have that document, we have those documents to be able to read and say, okay, when the last time it happened, this was what happened, this is what has come to. So by adding to that jurisprudence, by adding to that knowledge, by expanding it, I'm proud of what she has done. So, but right now is a question we are facing. Look, people have asked serious questions about the incumbent CJ and asked whether she's doing the same thing or similar things. I don't know. She was in Canada watching the game. She's a patriot. And again, that goes back to the point I'm making. It's not beyond the realm of English to think that a chief justice and a man who has served his country for this long, he can raise his own money. He can go and watch a game. He can do it. He has the resources and means. He can go with his whole family. So, but the moment we have this, you see that those ugly issues started to emerge about how did he go there? Was he with government? Does he compromise his neutrality? Those issues are emerging because now, whatever you do as a CJ, people are trying to compare it to or put it vis-a-vis the Tokono case. And that may be healthy or it may be unhealthy. Either way, the Tokono case has now become a very fundamental issue that we go ahead from now. You also then see the other ramifications of it. Right now, as we're talking about, the Council of State does not have a former Chief Justice representing it. And we saw that Sophia Akuffo resigned because of these issues. She resigned because of the Tokunu issue. I've read somewhere, and I think Hamza saying that he was never in support of Tokunu for Sophia regime. I respect that. But the fact then remains that also part of the ramifications of what has happened is that now the constitutional requirement of having a former Chief Justice on the Council of State, we don't. For how many months? So why? That is also part of what? The ramifications of removing her. And now I think the part of the reason why we don't have a Chief Justice is because those two that are left, the government or the president doesn't trust them. He thinks that they are MPP employees, that right? And also, what's the name? Anibia. And so we now have this issue.
So the one left will be here.
Will be who?
Will be get to talk on.
I don't know the legal ramifications whether she's qualified.
Okay,
I don't know that.
Okay.
So even in that case, so you can see that all the retired chief justices are, let me say, were appointed under MPP administrations. So that may also make the government uncomfortable in appointing them there. So maybe I think that the only option available is to wait until December. I hear the current chief justice retires in December, right? That's it, in December. So that once he retires, then he's appointed to what? The Council of State. So the Council of State would have gone for about a 1.5 year with that requirement to be there. And that is sometimes what we do. I don't know whether it has a fatal flaw or I don't know whether it fatally affects the work in the Council of State. Either way, sometimes when you, what's the name, you pray for the rain, you also deal with the mud. But going forward, the question would then ask me, I can then believe that any president of the Republic of Ghana that has been voted to office will come with his or her own Chief Justice. I believe we have institutionalized that. Because there's any new government that can, especially if the government is an MPP government, there is no amount of force in this country that will prevent that president from removing the existing Chief Justice. It is because we have, not in the Tokunu case, not only have we personalized, we have also deeply politicized it. So much so that foot soldiers have taken positions and trained positions. And the force from the foot soldiers to any future leader to make sure that you bring your, let me say, your own Chief Justice will be so strong that I don't think any leader will be able to avoid that. And that is so powerful. So I'm praying that it doesn't get there. Okay. I'm praying that any future leader that will come can say that, look, I understand your frustration and I understand your genuine and legitimate demands for me to change an incumbent Chief Justice. But if that Chief Justice is doing the work he's going to do, and if that Chief Justice is not breaking law, I don't think we should go ahead and do that. Okay. So that is what I pray and go back. All right. This case, we always knew it was going to get here and got here.
So, were you surprised by the outcome?
Oh, but it was obvious that the former Chief Justice was on a wild goose chase. You see, she refused to take an advice, and that is where it is. But she still has 4 cases at the Supreme Court, and then judgment will be delivered on the 2nd of July. So maybe in those cases it may go her way. But from where we are, or from where I sit, she didn't act tactfully in all these situations. If I'm to be. Remember, in those days, I kept saying that resign and negotiate. That I was on various platforms with him, and I preferred this advice. But who asked somebody who said, "Whom am I?" She did not take some of the advice very serious. My brother Zato is saying that this case was deeply politicized. Yes, it was deeply politicized by the New Patriotic Party. See, the person that petitioned is not a politician. Or those that petition, 3 groups, 2 individuals, and then a civil society petitioned. Daniel Ofori, who formed the Whitechapel, is never a politician. He is a typical businessman. Ayamga Kogo is a police officer. And then there is a shining star or something that petition. So from that angle, I didn't see the politics of it or the partisan nature of it until we had Vincent Ekwasifwa enter the fray. When Vincent entered, what was his whole interest in the matter? He said he was asking the Supreme Court to injunct the entire process because Madam Tokonu had not received the petition. And that before the president forwarded the petition to the Council of State for the determination of a prima facie, the affected party must have an input or respond to the petition so that it is considered as a whole. You ask yourself, at that material time, how did even a Kwasifa get to know that Madam Tokonu had been, there was a petition about Madam Tokonu? How did he know? And how did he come to the conclusion that that copy or a copy of the petition had not gotten to the former Chief Justice? It means there were some discussions. That's the reasonable deductions you make out of that. And to make matters worse, Vincent Assefa was represented by who? Godfrey Dame. Remember, when Godfrey decided to represent Vincent, some of us raised issues that this will be, you are pushing the whole thing into a political arena, the MPP and the NDC business. And we don't want it that way. Said no, there are times that good men must speak. This was Godfrey speaking. The president then made the petition available to the former Chief Justice. You remember? And even gave 10 days
To respond.
Now, when the response went, the Council of State, that is mandated under the Constitution to sit and determine whether or not there was a prima facie, said, yes, indeed, there were questions for the former Chief Justice to answer. And so, as the Constitution provides in Article 146, they followed through the process. She was suspended. It was then that we started hearing from the member of Council of State, Madam Sophia Akuffo, that, the voting that came, that out of the 31 members, 30 voted for and 1 abstained. And the presumption is that she abstained. But you see, abstinence does not mean you don't believe in the case. If she really had issues with it, she would have voted against it, not to abstain. Why was she abstaining? But she abstained. And even went to the extent of witnessing for the former CJ. I thought that was very serious and dangerous because at the Council of State, she, the former Chief Justice and the council member, is in charge of constitutional, legal, and petitions. So every petition that gets to the Council of State, she gets to open it and discuss with other members. You have done so, you have taken part in the decision, then you come around and then say that you are testifying against the very group.
Well, but constitutionally, she has to take part of the decision making.
Yes, so she did.
Yes.
But to go to the extent of...
It doesn't mean that they wrote her right to disagree.
No, but that's that you were part of it. You have taken a decision. You are in charge of the legal, constitutional, and petition. To go to the extent of being a witness to the removed Chief Justice was an overkill. So I said that I was going to petition for her removal from the council. And indeed, I was going to do it till I got wind that she has sent the resignation. I was not backed off. Because then my point was that if you were going to allow her to be with the Council of State, how was that compatibility going to be? The working as a unit going to be achieved. That we discuss something today, tomorrow, I don't know whether you are going to even witness against the very decision that we have taken. Especially when she, as the former Chief Justice of the Council of State member, had used the very provision that Article 146 says to establish a prima facie to get Charlotte Osei removed from office.
But her issue was that she had issues with the process.
What process was that?
And then in the Charlotte Osei, she said that she gave Charlotte the chance to respond to the issues.
So you see the insincerity.
What is insincerity?
At the time that decision was made by the Council of State, the removed Chief Justice had sent the response. So what was she talking about? She was allowed to respond. I just told you that she was given even 10 days.
Yes.
So that point becomes moot. You understand? When she was taken to the committee, she was afforded the opportunity to have counsel. In fact, when there were about 4 lawyers or so, she was allowed to do whatever. In fact, when the Constitution prescribes against holding the what do you call it? Proceedings in camera. She defied that. She came out and hold a press conference.
But that is holding the proceedings in camera. Her press conference is not part of
No,
the
but if you
proceedings.
come and do a press conference and expose whatever has happened at the committee level, what are you doing? You are exposing the committee.
Does the Constitution prescribe what she did?
I mean, I was going to tell the law because you see, there is a reason why they say in camera. What it means is that whatever happens there must stay there. But if you come out and come and expose it, that means you were inviting the committee members to also come and state their side of the story. What would you have done? Is it not public hearing that we will be doing? And remember, there was citizenship, what do you call it? Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral Reforms or Systems, Kwabena Bonfest group, that also went to court. That were even asking for the whole proceedings to be held in public hearing, which was dismissed by the Supreme Court, and also even injunct the entire process. There again, the Supreme Court said no. Beyond that, former Chief Justice Tokonu herself went to the Supreme Court to injunct this whole process, which was also dismissed. You get my point? So there has been everything about it has followed due process. She decided after that she would go to the ECOWAS court. And I remember very well at that time, the time that she decided to go to ECOWAS court, I gave her an example or reason why she must not go. That there was this Nigerian Supreme Court justice called Walter Onojin. Walter Onojin in 2019 was removed from office. And what was the offense? On a matter of having failed to declare his assets. Onojin was withdrawn or removed from office. Now Onojin was living in Lagos. The distance between Lagos and Abuja is as short as 20 minutes. He could have gone to the ECOWAS court, and he processed it and left there. So you going to ECOWAS court was not going to change anything, especially where ECOWAS will still fall on the laws of this country to make a determination. They will look at Article 146 and see whether or not the right processes were followed.
Okay.
What was the ruling yesterday? They said everything they followed through the laws of the land.
Okay.
And we are grateful that at least the country has been saved the trouble of parting away with $10 million. You know, if she had won, it would have been $10 million, so, which is more than the budget of the NCC and what is it? The other one, social welfare. We are going to give to one person.
Yeah, thank you. Hamza.
I knew this was going to happen. I don't know your moderating strategy. It's for myself and after that.
I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, moderating strategy is a bit worrying. I can't tell what the agenda is, but it is allowed. So we will be sandwiched in the middle of the prison.
Hamza, you and I, we are brothers.
No, that's why I'm asking.
But the way you are doing it today is like you are putting your brother.
Anyway, but that is not to say that I cannot. We know sometimes we can see through the
Hamza always does this. He does this purposefully. Listen, it's deliberate. He does this every Thursday. It's deliberate. It's about all of us. The God is going to have a problem. If you are sitting here it's because the face not here, he has a problem.
But I've got programs with him where he spoke last.
First of all,
he likes to speak last. Haven't I gone on programs with you where you spoke last?
First of all,
yes. Okay, let's make progress. Yeah.
Yes. So on the issue of Madam Justice Tokonu, you see, Kojo, even before I